All right, here we go. Okay. Let's see what we got here. All right, y'all. So let's talk about this Invicta card for Wednesday. Let's see what we got here. Just getting this thing pulled up here. Running a little behind, I see. Here we go. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna get started here at about the 2-minute mark. Let's do this Invicta post-fight show. I had to go back and watch it again too, so because I did watch it Wednesday night, but I said let me go back and watch it because I missed a couple of the fights in between. So yeah, let me just pull some stuff up here. It's just gonna be a quick stream anyway, like 20 minutes or something. Oh, hold on. Gotta pull using StreamYard, so the comments have to kind of flip back and forth here. Let's see. All right, so here we go, y'all. All right, what's going on, y'all? 2B, Marcus Bell. Yeah, let's talk about this Invicta card from this past Wednesday. Invicta FC 45. What's going on, y'all? All right, here we go. Sorry, this thing be running slow. Browsers be running slow sometimes, so here we go. All right. Yeah, so what's going on, y'all? Let's talk about this Invicta FC 45 card this past Wednesday. Um, First off, I have to say, my thoughts on the card as a whole. I thought it was pretty solid. It was pretty good. I think it was just one of those typical Invicta cards that delivers. We got a lot of action in there. We got some of the veterans up in there, and we got a few, newcomers in the game still trying to make their noise. So I don't know, man. It's not really like it's not one of those cards where I'm gonna say, oh man, this is like boring, because I heard some people feel like it wasn't like the best Invicta FC card, but I thought it was just like any other Invicta card. It delivered. It was solid. You got some good finishes in there, and the title fight delivered. The rematch between Zappatilla and Del Boni, it delivered. You know, um, Jessica Del Boni, she went in there and she executed a good game plan this time. She didn't leave any. She didn't leave any questions this time. She answered everything. She did a little bit everything in this fight. So I'll talk about the main event last. I just kind of want to go down through each fight here because some of these fighters I'm familiar with. We got, let's see, we had Saul on this card again. I've been following her for a minute. The young Irish fighter. She's like atom weight too, and she was on like a 3-fight losing streak. So I was like, yo, she got to go in there and make some noise. And not only did she get the win, but she got a finish. I thought that was pretty solid. So shout out to Katie Saul. But yeah, we have some of the highlights on there that I want to talk about as well, because there's one fight on there I'm looking at, and I'm like, oh, this girl might be trouble. This girl might be some trouble for some of these fighters on the come up. So let's see. Let's go down the list, man. We're gonna talk about all 6 fights real quick. I ain't gonna, really like delve in each one of them for too long. Just the main event and the co-main event. But yeah, I just want to cover each one and let y'all know what happened. Let's see. We had I saw a Sarah Klevka fight before. Sarah Klevka versus Maria Favela. Sarah Klevka, she had fought just like a couple months ago against Brittany Cloudy. Brittany Cloudy had beat her. I want to say back in November. Yeah, it was a close fight, but I felt like Brittany Cloudy had won that fight pretty easy. Uh, I think she won every round. There were just some like good competitive moments in that one. But Sarah Klevka, she bounced back with the win over Maria. I think was it Favela. It wasn't like the most action-packed fight. It was a good bantamweight fight. I think it just came down to who was really active in there. And Favela, the first round, she was putting in some good work. As far as her leg kicks and her striking. But then she just let Klevka come on strong and just really started piecing it up in like the second and third round. I mean, the second round was close, so it was a split decision win for Klevka. It really could have gone either way. It wasn't like a lot of great action in there, but it was a solid fight for some up and comers. I think what Maria Favela was like, she came in at like 2-1. She's 2-2 now, and Klevka is 3-3. So that was a win she needed. She was 2-3 when she came in. So that was a good comeback fight for Klevka. Both need to really work on like just sitting down on their shots. There was a lot of movement in there, and there was a lot of air punches. They got to go in there and commit to punches, and that's why I'm saying like even fighters on the high level sometimes when you look at like Angela Hill, they get into that habit of just like throwing a lot of air punches, and they think that's going to win on the judges' scorecards, but it don't work like that, right? So yeah, that was the first fight on the card. But second fight, I was looking forward to Katie Saul. Shout out again to Katie Saul. She was taking on Tamika Jones, who was making her Invicta FC debut. She came in at 1-0. And like I said, Katie Saul, she was on a 3-fight losing streak. But man, she went in there. She broke that 3-fight losing streak with the first round submission. Now I picked Katie Saul going into this fight just because I thought she had the experience. I felt like she just had more of a polished game, even though she was on this losing streak. I thought she was going to win like by a decision or maybe like a stoppage, but man, she went in there and got a submission. She went in there, executed her ground game. I mean, right from the jump, she was using her reach, very well. She was just using that long jab, long straight punches, keeping the wrestler on the end of her shots. And it was actually Saul that used her takedown at a point to stop Jones, because Jones tried to go in and use that wrestling to get the takedown. But, it was actually Saul who defended the takedown and then went in and got her own takedown. And she was just really mauling on the ground. Like, she landed some good shots on the ground, controlled that top position, and just showed some really good grappling. Like when she got down there, like a couple of times Tamika Jones was trying to like flip out of there and get top position. But I thought Saul did a good job of just using her grappling and getting to the back and locking in, trying to go for that rear naked choke. When she couldn't get the rear naked choke, she went straight into an armbar from this awkward position and, got the submission. So I was impressed. I know that, there was an experience gap there. Tamika Jones, that's only her second fight, but I was just surprised to see the stand-up fighter, execute a good game plan like that. She just went in there and took it to the ground and just showed some good grappling. So, yeah, she needed that win. Shout out to Katie Saul, man. The third fight on the card, good flyweight fight, man, between Helen Peralta and Elise Pone. And I say it was good just because I like the game plan Peralta executed, as far as just fighting a good, patient inside fight. It wasn't like she was like going in there expending a lot of energy and she wasn't wild. Peralta, she fights at a lower weight, I think like 115 sometimes, but she moved up to 125, and I thought she looked really good. I thought she looked strong. I know there was a big experience gap here because Elise Pone, she was another 1-0 fighter coming in, and she was facing off against what is it, Peralta, like 3-2? Yeah, I think I'm gonna look it up right now. I think Peralta's like 3-2. She might be 4-2, and that's a big experience difference right there. So I didn't really expect Elise Pone to go in there and beat somebody like Peralta, because Peralta, she's got some win. Yes, she came in at 4-2. She came in at 4-2. I was right. Yeah, Peralta, she's got some good wins on her resume. She beat Cheyenne Velismus, scored some big knockouts, I think, in the couple of her boxing fights before. So she's got some power. She's got some power. And in this fight, she was just really just making her presence known. Like she was just backing Elise Pone up. And again, Elise Pone 1-0. I think that was just like a fight where she didn't really feel like right off top that she had that confidence to go in there and trade with somebody with Peralta, go in there and um, try to dictate the pace. Peralta with the experience, she knew she could just go in there hands down, throw some big shots, try some different things out, and just keep pushing her back. Keep pushing her back. But it was that inside game I was impressed with. Just how she was like clinching and just beating Pone up against the cage. She was just like pressing her, throwing a lot of inside shots, and just really, 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 really just bullying Pone. Like Pone really didn't execute anything here. She tried to go in for a takedown in the third round, but not much not much came of it. Because Peralta took over again and just was holding her with one hand and just beating her with the other hand. She would switch up from the right to the left. So that was a good fight for Peralta, just showcasing her strength and her power. I would like to see Peralta eventually fight for that flyweight title, though, man. Like, either fight for the flyweight title against Karina Rodriguez, or I'd like to see her in there with somebody like Brogan Sanchez. That would be a good fight. Because Peralta, I think she's been getting better and better. She's been getting stronger. And I think if she could get that belt, you could probably see her getting to the UFC at some point. Now, I think she would be a good addition to the UFC. I mean, the UFC they signed some greener fighters than that, but I think Helen Peralta's got some experience. I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, let me see. Helen Peralta, let's see. Like I said, she's 4-2. She is 33. So time ain't on her side. Like, I know there's a point where she probably wants to get to the UFC too, so she has to keep racking these wins up. Let's see. She lost her fight back in 2021, came back, beat Caitlyn Salmons, then she beat Elise Pone. And yeah, if she could get like a title fight. Oh yeah, I can't believe she lost to Kay Hansen too, man. Like early on when she was like 2-1. Yeah, that's where I first seen I think it was Kay Hansen. And I picked Helen Peralta to win that fight too, man. Yeah, man, I was like, what? I picked Helen Peralta to win that. I thought Helen Peralta was gonna go in there and knock Kay Hansen out, but she lost that fight. She actually lost by ground and pound. But that was 3 years ago. So what's going on? Like 3.5 years ago. So I'd still give Peralta a chance. I think she's gotten better since then. I think she's improved more than. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can say she's improved more than Kay Hansen, because Kay Hansen does have some names on her resume. She does have a former Invicta champion on her resume. So yeah, but I think maybe if she could get at least a couple more wins, she probably could get into the UFC. But yeah, like I said, time is not on her side. She got to get it. She got to get it in. The next fight on this card, what was her name? Haley Cohen versus, what is it? Monica Franco? Yeah, Monica Franco. Haley Cohen, she's been out for like over a year. Yeah, because the last fight I seen her in was back in LFA. She's a bantamweight, up and coming bantamweight. And last time I saw her in LFA, I think she got submitted. I think she lost by like guillotine, and then I thought she was gone for a while. I didn't know if she was coming back, because yeah, she was out the game for like a year and a half, but she came back this past Wednesday, Invicta FC debut. She beat Monica Franco, who was coming in undefeated. First round was not much action going on there. It was just really Haley Cohen just trying to use her size, use that physicality against Monica Franco, just kind of do that lay and pray on the cage, really just clinching and wrestling and just putting her weight on her and just really trying to sap her energy. And it carried over into the second round. As soon as she got Franco to the ground in the second round, she was able to, just start working, landing some good shots, get that back, and submit Monica Franco. So it wasn't like a great deal of action, but it was a big win for her, big comeback win. She was able to submit Monica Franco. Let's see who else. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this fifth fight, Ramona Pascuala. this was a catch weight fight, but they were coming in at like 150. I think they were coming in like 150. Now, Ramona Pascuala, this is somebody I'm on the lookout for here. She's another hard hitter. She's a finisher. If you go and look at her resume, go look at some of her highlights, she's pretty much finished everybody on her resume. Ramona, I think she's going to be a big threat here. She trains with Syndicate. Um, Very athletic, very fast for 150 pounds. If she's going to go up the lightweight, I think she could be a problem. I mean, she went in here against what is her name again? Shamir Peshua, scored a good first round finish. I mean, she went in there and just really showcased good striking. She light on her feet, delivering them power shots. Just measuring her range nicely, just kind of backing Peshua up. And Peshua just was really executing her shot. She was just like kind of winging a little, jabbing short, not really committed to throwing her kicks. Right away, Ramona was just committed to mixing it up. She was throwing right hands, right hooks, leg kicks. And that's what I'm saying. Like when you mix up your attack like that, when you can go up and down, that's what makes the knockout come easy. You know what I mean? Like when you just keep going for the headshots, you're not really going to get a knockout. But if you mix it up like Ramona was doing, and she's got power at this size, the knockout's going to come if you mix it up. She was throwing some good leg kicks, just backing Peshua up, going up and down, like I said. And then she came in, landed that big knee to the body, and just sent Peshua into the cage, threw some more shots. The ref just stepped in. But yeah, it was a good knockout, via knee to the body, because it was that knee to the body that just ended it. That was the shot that just ended it. And I was like, oh man, this girl got power. Like, this is crazy, and I was actually looking at a few of her fights before this. I was like, yeah, I think she's going to get a knockout going into this fight here because she don't play. And that's what I'm saying. Like Ramona Pascuala, she's one to look out for. She is definitely one to look out for. You. Let me see something in the comments. Yeah, 2B said he was impressed by her. Yeah, I was impressed by Ramona for real because I just like the fact that she could move at this size, at a near lightweight, you know what I mean? She could move in and out, and she was turning her punches and kicks over nicely, you know what I mean? She was really delivering these power shots. She just wasn't sloppy with it. She could tell she's like been really training on her overall kickboxing. Very athletic. Like some of these other big girls, even like Felicia Spencer, they're strong, but they just kind of throw their weight around and they're always off balance. But like the way Ramona is like, throwing her punches, she's very calculated with it. She was measuring her range and, just shooting them straight shots down the pipe and just controlling the distance very, very well in this fight. So, man, I don't know, man. I think that the PFL needs to pick her up for real, man. I mean, they have some other green fighters in PFL. They've been signing, some of the older fighters too that, that are on the way out. But I think she's right there in the middle. I think, what is she, 33 right now? So she's another one. Time's not on her side. So I think PFL needs to pick her up because, hey, she could be a threat for Kayla Harrison. Give her a couple more fights. If she fights a couple more of these, maybe like 155-pound fights or catch weight fights in the Invicta FC or in the PFL, shoot, you could put her in there. Why not? I mean, they've done worse. I mean, there's some other girls in there just laid out for Kayla Harrison, right? So I think eventually Ramona could get there, maybe like another year and a half or something. Like, what's the word? Kayla Harrison re-signed the PFL. She needs new blood. Hey, get Ramona Pascuala in there, man. I think she's ready for it because I think her movement would be problems for Kayla Harrison. You can see right there, like she's the type of striker that Kayla Harrison's never faced before. Because even like Jenna Fabian, she's tall and long, but she didn't really like try. Like she didn't even really try to like use her range. But the way Ramona Pascuala's fighting and the way she's just like stepping side to side and gets her jab working early and she's a counter puncher, that could be a problem for Kayla Harrison, man. I think so. Yeah, for sure. I think so, man. Let's see. So, yeah, the first 5 fights on this card, good action. Like I said, you got some good finishes in there. And that's what you need on these cards to really get them live, to get a lot of people tuned in. You need to have this type of action. You know, I don't mind seeing decisions, of course. You know me, as long as the fighter's in there working. But I think to win over the casual fans, you got to see more finishes like this. And that's why the UFC really needs like these bigger weights too, like these featherweight, lightweight divisions for the women, because that's how you're going to get these finishes, man. Let's see what else. So let's talk about this championship fight. Though. Let's talk about the rematch: Alicia Zappatilla versus Jessica Del Bonte. Let me see here. Ernest Richardson Zappatilla's gotten exposed, and yeah. Let's talk about that real quick too. I know before the fight. Well, I won't spend too much time because I want to talk about the fight. Then I'll bring it up again. But I know before this fight, Alicia Zappatilla, I don't know if she was as focused in going into this. You know, she was already thinking about moving up to strawweight. She said if she wins this fight, she was going to move up to strawweight. But I can't, I was already like, I can't say that would be a good idea because Alicia Zappatilla is having trouble right now with some of these atom weights. You know, I don't think she really has the style to move up to 115, right? I don't think she really has the style to move up to 115. I mean, Tecia Torres, it's hard enough for her to put together a string of wins against some of the elite strawweights. You know what I mean? But I think that Alicia Zappatilla, she would not do very well. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think she would do very well because she doesn't have the same type of approach as Tecia. You know what I mean? Like Tecia is able to at least fall somewhere in the middle of the strawweight division at times, but even then, you know, she kind of falls short against the taller, longer, stronger fighters, right? And I don't think Alicia Zappatilla really has the tools that could handle any of these big strawweights, even in the UFC. Like if she was going to win this fight, and you know she was going to try to get signed by the UFC and go into 115 pounds, you know that would be deadly. Because even like somebody like Lupita Benitez would probably give her trouble. You know, even the lower level fighters like Corey McKenna would give her trouble. Elise Reed, you know, even these, strikers on the lower level like Sam Hughes would still give her trouble, I think, you know. So I think she would have trouble getting by those fighters. And then you got to think Amanda Lemos, and even Angela Hill. Like there's all of these different styles where I think you got the much better, taller, longer fighters here. And Alicia Zappatilla, you know, she's just, too small, I think. I just think with her style as well, it's not really intimidating for some of these strawweights. You know, it's hard enough for fighters, like I said, Tecia and Carla, to get their rhythm going in there and to make their presence known. But for her, I haven't really seen her do it like them. Like, you know, we talk about how small Carla is, but Carla's in the title shot mix now, you know, and it took a long time for her to get back there. It took her 7 years to get back into that position, you know. But off of what I've seen from Alicia Zappatilla, I don't think she has I really don't think she has it to move at strawweight. Yes, she could continue to fight at atom weight, but yeah, strawweight's too much for her. And I mean, this fight was a good example of that, you know, because Jessica Del Bonte, like I said, going into this rematch, she pretty much said, I'm going to do a little bit of everything in this fight. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to, make sure there's no questions for you to ask here. You know, I'm going to go in here and make sure everything is, I'm going to just cross these T's, dot these I's, and make sure, hey, you can't take this from me this time. You know, these judges can't take it from me. Marcus said Zappatilla was already exposed. Yeah, I mean, even in some of her earlier fights, you know, I've seen some other fighters do some, pretty impressive things against her. They just didn't really put it together. I have to give her credit because she would always find a way to win. But, Del Bonte pretty much showed you what you need to do in the first fight. You know, establish good leg kicks, good takedown defense, and just good striking. You know, just good striking. So yeah, let's take a look at this fight though, man. Like I said, no questions this time, man. Zappatilla, she tried to start off the first round and surprise Del Boney. She tried to go straight in there, use that wrestling, right? She got that takedown, went in there for side control, and she wanted to do something different. Zappatilla wanted to push. She wanted to push that pace and just wrestle. But she looked strong for the first minute. But Del Boney, she was just really using that strength. That strength. Del Boney's a stronger fighter, I think. She was able to regroup and get back to her feet. And she survived that guillotine that Zappatilla was trying to put on her. But Del Boney, to me, her grappling skills came into play in this fight. She was able to neutralize that wrestling with Zappatilla. Towards that I'd say probably like the middle of the first round, right when you thought that Zappatilla was going to try to out wrestle her, you could see Del Boney getting that work on the inside. She was able to get back to her feet after using her grappling, to escape. And she was landing some good right hands. Zappatilla walked into some good right hands. And then from there, you could see Del Boney just getting into her rhythm. She was stuffing takedowns now. Probably I could see where the one judge, he gave it to Zappatilla just because the fast pace that she started off at, just the wrestling that she was using. But I still have to give it to Del Boney because I thought she did the better work on the feet. And she was just using some slick moves on the ground to defend that from that wrestling attack from Zappatilla. Then when you went into the second round, I just say, man, I was where Del Boney was just getting it in. From there, she could get a read on those takedowns and was just controlling range. Landed some good singles too, because she winds those singles up, and she was hurting Zappatilla with some of these shots. When Zappatilla tried to go in close, she started eating some big shots from Del Boney, some big elbows. Right when she went in and Del Boney was using that takedown defense, you could see like Zappatilla kind of get rocked in this round from them big elbows, and she was kind of blinking too, trying to go back on the back foot and kind of reassess here. But Zappatilla, I could see she was hurt. Like, I don't know if y'all, I think it was like the second or third round. I don't know if y'all saw that, but she looked a little bit hurt in that round where she just kind of was like, okay, I gotta step back here. But yeah, third and fourth round, I just say, man, Del Boney was cracking her, man. She was landing those good leg kicks behind the knee. I mean, Zappatilla, if you look close, you can see like right behind her left leg, like she was like, her leg was really starting to turn red, and she was just getting hit with some big shots upstairs, and she couldn't get by the straight left hand of Del Boney. She was just getting picked apart. Fourth round, like I said, Del Boney just walking her down, landing these shots, landing good right hands. And there was a time where Zappatilla almost looked clueless. Like, she didn't even move her head a couple of times. She just ate some big right hands, and just her head was just on the line, and then she kind of resorted to just trying to shoot for them ankles. And Del Boney was just doing a good job of like flipping out. And, like, she would just kind of like roll out of these takedown attempts, or like just like kind of roll with it, use her flexibility. I was impressed. I was really impressed because even the jiu-jitsu of Del Boney was impressive. The way she used it against the wrestling here in that last round. I think it was Zappatilla. Yeah, Zappatilla tried to go in for that last takedown in the fifth round. She was really trying to go after it, and then Del Boney was able to get the back and landed some good hammer fists. Then Del Boney, she was just really taking over using that jiu-jitsu and almost locked in that armbar in that last round. So I thought she was going to close it out with the finish. That would have been even better. But overall, I had to fight 5-0, man. I just thought that Del Boney pitched the shutout this time. She wanted to make it clear this time that she won. I thought she won the first fight, but I kind of figured this time around, even if it played out like the first fight, the judges were going to, give it to Del Boney regardless, man. But yeah, like I was saying, oh yeah, let's not forget too, like I was talking about the other day. I said, yeah, man, Del Boney, man, I know she was happy, but man, that speech, boy, it was like what? It was like longer than the fight. When she got that belt and then she went into her speech, I was like, I had walked away and came back like 5 minutes later, and she was like still talking. I was like, dang, boy, she happy, ain't she? I was like, she putting on a speech here. But yeah, man, I was like, wow. But yeah, shout out to Jessica Del Boni. It was a good fight, very very entertaining. Good technical matchup here, and good technical performance by Del Boni. I just think that she was dominant in every discipline here. Stand up, on the ground. Alicia Zappatilla, she was just outworked, and she was just outstrength by a better fighter. And like I was saying, I really don't think it would be a good idea for Zappatilla to try to fight at 115. Even if she did win this fight, even if Zappatilla won this fight, I I, I still couldn't see her faring too well in the UFC strawweight division. Because like she said, that was her plan to move to 115, But the UFC has it in mind right now. There's rumors now about a atomweight division in the UFC. We'll see. I'm not getting my hopes up about that yet. We'll see. I don't know. They said it's going to be worked on by sometime third or fourth quarter of 2022. Of course, if they did that, then yeah, if they signed Alicia Zappatilla in the UFC, she could do that atomweight division, but not. I don't think she could do the strawweight division. As for Del Boni, I mean, the stronger she gets, the more power she gets on her shots, and the more technical she gets with her style, the higher her IQ goes up. You could see her probably go up to 115 one day, but I don't think Zappatilla would fare well at it though. So yeah, I hope, man, after seeing this card and the performance that these two fighters put on, the UFC finally bites down and just creates this atomweight division. Right? Ain't about time they just go ahead and do it. I'm just like, hey man, come on. Like, what are y'all waiting on? You failed with the featherweight division, which I don't know why. I mean, that was just like straightforward. But yeah, I at this point, like I said, I'm not gonna get my hopes up, because even if they did go into the motion of creating an atomweight division, would they follow the same path that they did with the featherweight division? Because I mean, as easy as it was to establish that, they could very well fail the same way, right? But who knows? Marcus said 4 page later. Yeah, man. Shoot, she was kicking it. She was kicking it. She was kicking it off, man. I was like, man, she is going in. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and talk about these fights with y'all. I said, let me jump on here, while still fresh in my mind, because I went back and watched it last night. And I said, let me go ahead and jump on and talk to y'all real quick. And oh yeah, it's fight night tonight. The preliminary card, let's see, for UFC starts at 5 p.m. Of course, we only got one WMMA fighter on this card, and that's on the main card, Caitlyn versus Jennifer Maia. I already told y'all who I got. Who do y'all got tonight, Chookagian or Maia? I mean, anything can happen in this fight, but I think some people are still overlooking like the possibility of this fight looking very much the same way. Like, I know a lot of people want Jennifer Maia to win this fight, but it's like, come on, like you can't ask of something that your fighter is not capable of doing. Like, to me, how improved is Jennifer Maia from the Valentina fight? That's my question to y'all. Like, how much more has she improved since that Shevchenko fight, or even the first Caitlyn Chookagian fight? Like, how much has she improved to y'all? Like, I'm not gonna let, if I don't like a fighter, I'm not just gonna let that blind me and think that so and so is not capable of winning. Like, some people think, oh, Caitlyn Chookagian's body's exposed now. They think that Jennifer Maia can go in there and stop her with body shots. I mean, she very much could, but who else has done that since then? Nobody else has done that since Andrade. And Andrade is just that one. Like, Andrade is the type of fighter with that power. She is the type of fighter with that power. And if she hits you anywhere, it's gonna do that. You know, your body's gonna get that type of reaction. But when it comes to some of these other flyweights, they don't really go for the body like that. They don't really go for the body. Like Jennifer Maia is not really the one to do that. So it's hard for me to say she's gonna go in there and execute the same game plan as Andrade. Cedric C said, I think Caitlyn is overlooking Maia. I don't think so. I don't think she's overlooking her. I mean, she's already beat her before. You know, everybody's on weight. Everybody looks focused. I don't think because you're excited. I don't think because if you're excited about a fight, that doesn't mean you're overlooking a fighter. You know what I mean? Like that just means you're not really. Why should you be ecstatic about the fight? I mean, that doesn't really break your focus. I mean, if you're overexcited, to me, that's going to take away your focus. I think that's kind of going to add emotion to it. Yeah, I really won't take that as overlooking. I mean, like I said, anything can happen. You know, I just need to see it tonight if Jennifer Maia has those improvements to go in there and beat Caitlyn this time around. Because the first time was pretty solid. I didn't did I give? Yeah, I gave Jennifer Maia like one round. I think I gave her like the last round, the first time they fought. Yeah, I think I gave her. Yeah, I did a breakdown of that fight. Yeah, I gave her one round thing, but I gave Caitlyn like two. I thought she just was outworking and just putting the work in on her. Yeah, like I say, the styles make fights, but I think it's honest. I think we can honestly say that there's a good chance that Caitlyn can just go back in there and do it again. Because if Jessica I can get off the way she did on Jennifer Maia, and there's some of y'all out there that think Jessica I did beat Jennifer Maia. There's a lot of y'all out there that told me that Jessica I beat Jennifer Maia. You know, so if Jessica I was able to take her out of her game plan and Jennifer Maia just fight the wrong fight, you know what I mean? We kind of have to look back at that one too. We gotta kind of go back and look at that because that's how you measure a fighter's IQ. You know, you look at her taking the wrong approach and trying to box with Jessica I instead of taking her to the ground and just grappling with her, especially when Jennifer Maia is bigger and stronger than Cynthia Calvillo. But Calvillo was able to take down and maul Jessica I. I'm like, come on, let's make this fight easy. He said Maia's like she don't get that much. She don't got that much heart. Yeah, good fighter. She's very, very good. She's well rounded, but sometimes I think she just lacks that killer instinct. That's what's been keeping her back. No, I don't really think she's overlooking her. It's actually 2019, but yeah, I don't think it was. I don't really think she was overlooking her. And I mean, if you think she is overlooking her, I mean, you kind of making some good points on why, right? Because you said she's soft and she doesn't have that much heart. And then, like I said, you just said that I beat her, right? So Chookagian might feel that same way, right? So she couldn't help but not overlook her, right? Because you gave a lot of good points on why. Beat her the first time. You think she's soft with no heart, and I beat her. So I mean, she might go in feeling the same way. Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. I think that hmm, hold on, I was just pulling something up here. He said she has a cocky attitude. Yeah, she does. She does have a cocky attitude. I can't say she's not that good though. I mean, she's still number 2. And she wouldn't be racking up these wins if she wasn't that good. I mean, I think that's what, like I said, that's one reason I'm a fan of Caitlyn, because she pisses a lot of people off like that. They're like, oh man, this girl ain't that good. But I mean, hey, she's still there, man. You know, it's up to somebody to take her out. And if you can't take her out, I'm like, yo, I got to give a person a lot of credit, man. Like, if she wasn't that good, she should have been down and cut by now. You know what I mean? She should be out the top 10. But look, she'll beat your favorite fighter. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, everybody hate Caitlyn Chookagian because she gonna beat your favorite fighter. You know what I mean? Like, all right, Andrea Lee, she might have certain things about her, like she might have more pop on her shots, but hey, Caitlyn's still up there. You know, you like Jennifer Maia, you know, she's strong, she's well rounded, but Caitlyn Chookagian beat her, right? Some people might like Lauren Murphy. She's a strong, exciting fighter. Caitlyn Chookagian beat her. You know, some people might like Jessica Eye. I could argue that Caitlyn Chookagian beat Jessica Eye in that fight. You know, I'm a JoJo fan. Caitlyn Chookagian beat her. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we can all say this and say, you know, it's fine. You know, people are not a fan of her style, but it gets the job done. You know, I like Viviane Arujo. I thought she was going to be the next one to get up there. Caitlyn Chookagian beat her. You know, so she's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. Yeah, like I said, her style may not be crowd pleasing, but it gets the job done. And if you guys don't like it, it's like, hey, talk to y'all's fighters. You know, get out there and say, hey, y'all need to go in there and beat this girl. She's easy. She's easy work. She don't have no power. But the thing about Caitlyn, her IQ is high. See, Caitlyn has something a lot of people's favorite fighters lack. They lack IQ and they lack cardio. All right. That's why she's gonna stay where she's at, because she has the IQ and the cardio. You know, IQ may not be crowd pleasing and cardio may not be crowd pleasing, right? Because everybody wants to see somebody with power, athleticism, and speed all the time. But that's not going to get you to win. That's not going to always get you to win. You know, IQ is going to get you a win, and that cardio in the gas tank is going to get you to win, right? So she's making sure that she has those two things to keep her going at all times, and she's got her eyes on the money. So going back to what you said, Cedric, see, I don't think she is overlooking Jennifer Maia because she fights for money. You know, that's the next best thing to fighting for the belt. You know, Caitlyn already said, look, I'll fight anybody. She was like, I'll fight anybody because it's a paycheck. You know, she wants to keep her money flowing. Unlike a lot of these other fighters that complain about the pay, Caitlyn's getting paid. You know why? Because she's staying active and she takes on everybody. Right? You said, I mean, look at the women's division she's in. That's not saying much. Well, it is saying much because everybody in the division is pretty much balanced out. I mean, the only one that separates is Valentina Shevchenko. Right? The only one that's separated is Valentina Shevchenko. Everybody else pretty much is a good fighter. They're all good fighters. They're all talented fighters. Yeah, well, you say with the division like these fighters, Murphy, Calvillo, Maia, still good fighters to me. I mean, they're still good fighters. So, I mean, we just got the pound for pound champion there, but everybody else still balances out. And I think she still is showing her game. I mean, it's going to take one of these up and comers to do their thing. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna still go with Caitlyn going into this fight here because I think again, you know, IQ just trumps power. You know, IQ just trumps pressure. You know, it's just gonna you just got to pick though. You just got to pick the one that's gonna execute their game plan, whether you know it's crowd pleasing or not. You know, people boo Floyd Mayweather when he boxes sometimes, or they call it running. So I'm just saying. And I mean, when you look at her resume, you got to say she is a good fighter. I mean, there's fighters where I'm not really fans of their styles, but I still have to say they're a good fighter, right? I mean, if you can beat Irene Aldana, Alexis Davis, JoJo, Jennifer Maia, Antonina Shevchenko, Cynthia Calvillo, Vivian Arujo, that sounds like a, you know, solid resume to me. Lauren Murphy, you know, that sounds like a solid resume to me. Yeah, he missing the point, but I mean, like I said, he can disagree. I mean, my point is, I'm not saying do I like her. Do you? I'm not trying to say you have to like her style. I'm just saying you have to respect it. You know what I mean? Yeah, just like that's your opinion. You think every fight was garbage on the Invicta FC card? I mean, that's only if you're looking for blood knockouts all the time. I mean, I enjoyed the card. You know, the title fight was good. The co-main event was good, and you know, like I said, I don't know what you measuring your level of good on, especially when you're looking at 1-0 fighters that are coming into the game. If you're expecting some type of explosion every single fight, you're gonna be disappointed. See, I enjoyed every fight on there because that's just me. I'm a fight fan, you know. Like I love to watch the fight game. I'm not a blood and guts fan. Like, well, I am, but I'm a fight fan first. Like I'll take the action, but if I'm gonna say everything's garbage, that's because I'm just trying to see somebody get knocked out in every single fight. If it's uninteresting, that means you're not really in it for the technique. That's pretty much how I'm the vibe I'm getting. But that's what I'm seeing. He said, but when were you extremely impressed by a performance of hers? Because I'm not. It's like, okay, another decision, jab and run and win. I'm not saying like I'm impressed impressed by the wins or wowed or blown away. I'm saying I'm impressed by her body of work and her work ethic. All right. And again, like the same way you feel about it is probably the same way these fighters feel when they get in there. It frustrates them. See, like it makes you emotional. It makes you say, oh, I can't stand this person because all they do is jab and they just move and jab and move. That's what impresses me about it. Like she's in your mental. Like, if anything, I may not be impressed because okay, she ain't knocking a person out, but I'm just impressed by the way her mind just kind of breaks people and makes them get frustrated. It takes a lot to do that. And I'm just really impressed. Like I said, she's still holding the number 2 spot because she's not that good. She should be out of there. Well, Invicta FC, there are some amateurs there. They're just coming in. You got some 1-0 fighters. You got some 2-0 fighters, and that's what I don't know if you ever watched Invicta FC before, Cedric, but Invicta FC is a building. It's like a building block. It's like a stepping stone for fighters. All right, it's where you have fighters make their pro debut. It's where you got a lot of 1-0 fighters coming in. It's where you even have some fighters coming back from the UFC coming down because they got to go back and work. You know, it's like a organization where you go back and work. That's why I'm saying you can't expect UFC level. If they were UFC level, this would be on the level of UFC, right? But if you're expecting like Zhang Wei Li caliber fights or Valentina Shevchenko level fights, you're in the wrong place. Like if you are seeing amateurs, that's because you're having fighters come straight out the amateur. Again, you got two fighters that are 1-0 on this card. They're not too far from being an amateur, right? Where do you think Rose Namajunas came from? And Tisha Torres, they all came from. If you were watching it back then, like 10 years ago, like I was, you would have been saying the same thing. Like these fighters don't look like much, but then another 10 years pass, you'd be like, oh, this person's the greatest fighter in the world, or they're like one of the best women fighters in the world now. Like, because believe me, when these other fighters were coming into Invicta FC 1-0 before, some of y'all's favorite fighters now, they were looking the same way. They were looking the exact same way before. Tisha Torres started off here. You know what I mean? Like, you would have said that back then. Oh, this is amateur. This is garbage. But now all of a sudden, you've seen the growth and you see them in the UFC. You'd be like, oh, these fighters are great. So yeah, you can't expect like pound for pound great fighters in Invicta FC. No, like if you're looking for that level of fight in Invicta FC, then you're gonna be disappointed. You will be disappointed. If you're looking for just straight up knockouts and like these fight of the night type fights, you're gonna be disappointed. Same thing. Like if you watch grappling bouts, if you watch Submission Underground, and you're going in there for like punches and chokeouts and ground and pound and TKOs, you're gonna be disappointed. It's gonna be kind of boring because they're grappling. Going there expecting like a knockout from Caitlyn Chookagian, and you get a decision, you're gonna be disappointed. I'm just saying. I'm just saying is all. Marcus, great. Cedric said, been watching since I saw Invicta 42. Some of those were fun, but the last two cards been boring. I enjoy the tournament card they did last year. That's the only one. Well, if you just started at 42, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really go in there and say it's garbage. Like I said, I've been watching since FC1, man. Invicta FC1. And I've seen the growth in these fighters. And I remember that Who's Who card back then. I was like, man, like these are some great fighters on. Well, I was like, these are some potential fighters on the way up, man. I was like, you got Amanda Nunes in there. You had Caitlyn Young. You had Chris Cyborg. You had Pam Bam. You had Rose. You had Tisha. And I was like, man, these are some good fighters. JoJo. Some make it, some break it. You know what I mean? So it's like there's going to be some boring cards to the casual because they're all growing. Like, when are you ever going to see like a fighter make their pro debut or 1-0 just go in there and fight with the confidence of Jessica Andrade or something? You know, how are they just going to go straight in there and put their O on the line and risk getting knocked out in their first fight? That's their first time in there. That's their very first time in there. So that them fighters are nervous. Yeah, they fought amateurs, but they probably shaking in their boots. They probably, they can't show it, but they're nervous. They got fear in them right there. So they don't want to just go in there and, throw down like that and go crazy and put on like a highlight reel. They don't want to get embarrassed, or they don't want to risk being somebody on the receiving end of a highlight knockout reel. Yeah, no, Ronda. Yeah, Ronda was Strike Force. Ronda was Strike Force. Yeah, they were all Strike Force. Gina Carano, all Strike Force. Yeah, man. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of looking forward to the fight tonight now, just because I was like looking at what Jennifer Maia was saying as well. Like Jennifer Maia, she want that title shot again. I don't know if she's ready. I mean, let's talk about that, Marcus. What do you think? Like how how confident should Jennifer Maia be? I mean, yeah, you should be like confident, but do you think that Jennifer Maia is really a big threat for the champion in the rematch? What do you think, Marcus? Like, I mean, she really got it in her mind. Like, I give Valentina a hard fight, but I watched that fight again the other day. I was like, oh, like, really, Valentina could have stopped Jennifer Maia the way she was landing them left hands over and over. She kept landing them punches, and then she would get that angle and turn and crack her in the face and turn like in round 4 and 5 when she started to turn it up. Like, how confident? Like, yeah, I know you can. Like, yeah, you can be confident. Okay, we can be confident, but like, why? Like, dang, like she really think like she did it. Like, she really think it was like Amanda Nunes or something. Like, she thought it was that close, but nah, man. Like, it was 4 rounds to one. It was 4 rounds to one. And let's see, Jennifer Maia would really have to do something to really disrupt Valentina, and she did it for 1 round. But there's really no other moments where I saw Valentina too frustrated. Yeah, Mark said the reason why Val ended up on her back against Maia was because Valentina put herself there. Right. Yeah, like she put herself in that position. So I don't really think there was any moments where there was a scare or there was nowhere I could say she was falling behind. So, but I'm glad she wants to do it again though. I mean, hey, like I got to give her credit. She wants to go in there again. Not too many people want to do it after that first time. Like you know, Andrade. I mean, she got finished in 2 rounds, so I can understand why she ain't talking about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. So we got this fight. Um, January 22nd. Man, that card is just a bust now. Jin Kim. Jin Kim is off the card the week after. Jin Kim is fighting Priscilla Cachoeira now, right? Somebody probably gonna get knocked out in that fight. Jin Kim versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Yeah, somebody probably get knocked out. Then who do you have? Josiane Nunes versus Wmma. Both of them were pushed back to what, March? I mean, we'll probably talk about this stuff more tomorrow, but Josiane Nunes, yeah, she probably be better at 125. Yeah, February 22nd. Well, she came in and she knocked Bea Malecki out, boy. Yeah, yeah, I had mentioned that a while back, Marcus. So yeah, Cynthia, yeah, like last month, Cynthia posted an IG about 115, and yeah, I commented on her Instagram, and she responded the other day. Yeah, just what, yesterday when she posted that new picture up. Yeah, she going back to 115 now. Yeah, when she moves out, then somebody's going to move up and somebody's move down. So 115 is where Cynthia Calvillo needs to be. You know, I don't think she can get any stronger or any better to be a problem at 125 at this point. You know what I mean? Like 115, I think suits her body and her style. That's where she needs to be. I think she just needs to strengthen up what she has now and go from there. You know, build off of that. You know, I don't really think she can just become a whole new fighter at flyweight, which is pretty much what she'll need to do to hang with Maia, Murphy, on Andrade again if she had to fight her again, and Shevchenko. You know, you'd have to be a whole new approach. Yeah, he says Cynthia's going back. He says time, yeah, for time for those flyweight rankings to fluctuate. Mark said with Roxanne retiring and Cynthia Calvillo going back to flyweight, time to add Melissa Gatto and Aaron Blanchfield in the rankings. Yeah, I think once if Roxanne, well, Roxanne's retiring anyway. I mean, win or lose, she's going to retire. Yes, when she's out the rankings, yeah, Calvillo's out. You're probably going to see Aaron Blanchfield break into their like 11, 12, 13 spots. And Manon might jump up after she beat. Well, she'll jump up if she leaves the rankings before her fight with I. And then if she beats I, or when she beats I, right, she'll jump up another spot. And she'll probably be getting like a top 5 or something. Oh, yeah, you said it. Yeah, you had it right. You said strawweight for Cynthia. Yeah. Yeah, I got you from the first one. Yeah. So if she goes back, she's gonna be in that mix with, Lamos and them fighters like that. So we'll see. We will see. Boy, flyweight is getting crazy right now. I mean, you got you got Misha Tate coming in there. The possibility of Tatiana Suarez coming back this year. It's kind of crazy right now, ain't it? Let's see. Yeah, you have Misha Tate coming in, and then you have Tatiana talking about coming back. Um, and then, of course, yeah, like I said, Blanchfield, Gatto. Yeah, I think, man, within the next 8, 9 months going into 2023, I think the division is going to look a lot different, man. I think Maia and Chookagian are still going to be up there, though, until Chookagian retires. And that's the thing, man. Caitlyn Chookagian, I think she'll be retiring on her own terms at this point. I think she's just getting that money and then she'll be out. But, like, I think she'll retire on her own terms. I don't really think she's chasing the rematch with Valentina, right? Like, she didn't really sound too interested in that at this point. Maia really wants that rematch more than Caitlyn does. I think Caitlyn said if she fights to the point where she gets it, she'll take it. And I think if Caitlyn Chookagian gets that Valentina rematch, I think that'll be the end game for her. I think that'll definitely be the end game for her because yeah, if she loses and loses bad to to Shevchenko, I think yeah, she'll be done after that. So I think that would be her whole overall end game. Maybe fight some more fights, take one more fight with Valentina, and call it a day. That might be her game plan. I mean, I really love to see that style with Manon though. That would be a crazy fight. All right, so yeah, it's time to get up out of here. Like I said, 30 minutes, but it's like an hour now. I had to go take care of some stuff real quick. But yeah, we'll be back on tomorrow to talk about this fight. I don't know. I might call the fight tonight just to do it. I might jump on and do the fight tonight. We'll see. We will see. Yeah, I think I might do the Chookagian Maia fight. It starts a little after 7, right? So I think it's like the third fight up. third fight on the card. So yeah, I might call it tonight. Might jump on and do that one. Oh yeah, that PAW, what is that? PAWFC card is tonight, or it's now. I think it's afternoon, right? I think it started at 2 o'clock, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch that tonight. It's like I think it's like a online pay-per-view. Sarah Kaufman is off the card though, because her opponent had to pull out. So yeah, that's kind of a bust. But yeah, let me get up out of here. Maybe I'll jump on tonight to do that fight, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Like I said, I don't care if you disagree or what. I mean, that's how it works. You know, we just talking anyway. Everybody's gonna have different points. That's the fun part. But yeah, like always, hit the thumbs up. Make sure y'all subscribe. Combo Breaker 99. I am out. Peace.